Hi everyone. Explaining shock, which is inadequate organ perfusion and delivery of nutrients necessary for normal tissue and cellular function. Initially, it can be reversible, so when we treat it, it goes back to normal and everything is fine. But life-threatening if not treated promptly can be also life-threatening. So this is inadequate organ perfusion. We have types. First of all are the hypovolemic cardiogenic obstructive and distributive. Let's start with the cardiogenic shock. We said that shock is inadequate organ perfusion. Cardiogenic means that it is related to the heart. Okay, related to the heart, as in myocardial infarction, heart failure, valvular dysfunction, or arrhythmia. All of these will cause the mechanism, which is left heart dysfunction. The skin would be cold and clammy. Central venous pressure, let's see. So the heart has a cardiogenic shock. It's not pumping enough blood. It's not pumping blood. It is in a state of shock. So the blood will congest in the heart. Blood isn't going out. It will stay in the heart, filling it everywhere. So the right heart would be congested. The left heart as well. The right heart is tested or by the CVP, which is the central venous pressure. It shows us the pressure in the right atrium. Okay, and the PCWP, which is pulmonary capillary wedge pressure, shows us the pressure in the left atrium. Cardiac output, as we said, is low. Systemic vascular resistance would be high. Why is that? Because there would be vasoconstriction everywhere. The aortic and carotid bodies, baroreceptors, would be triggered, increasing the blood vessel vasoconstriction, increasing the systemic vascular resistance. While the systemic venous oxygen saturation, the mixed venous oxygen saturation would be low. Why is that? Because mixed venous oxygen is the blood going to the tissues, coming back. This is the venous oxygen. So the oxygen in the blood going coming back from the tissues. So it indicates or shows us how much the tissue is extracting oxygen from the blood. In case of shock, the tissues are extracting so much the oxygen would be low. Let's go to the next, the hypovolemic. As we said, shock is inadequate organ perfusion. Hypovolemic is hypovolemia, so the volume would be depleted, volume depletion, hypovolemia. And the hemorrhage, the causes are hemorrhage, dehydration, and burns. These causes hypovolemia. It's easy to figure out because this is the heart, as we said, hypovolemia, so you don't have enough volume, you don't have enough blood. Okay, the heart is empty, no blood anywhere, so everything would be low. The CVP would be low, the pulmonary capillary wedge pressure would be low, cardiac output would be low, systemic vascular resistance would be high, and the mixed venous oxygen saturation would be low as well. What about the obstructive shock? Obstructive shock is interesting. Why is that? Because you can have the obstruction in two levels, the heart, as we know, and the lung as well. The heart and the lung. How is that? The lung, you might have pulmonary embolism or trenchant pneumothorax, which would block the blood in the lung, on the lung level. Why is it different? Because the heart gets blood from the body, delivers it to the lung, and then from the lung back to the heart, to the body again. Okay, so if the blood or the shock or the obstruction was at the lung level, it will be congested on the right heart, while the left heart is not. It's gonna be empty. So the PCV or the CVP, sorry, would be high, but the PCWP would be low. This is the right and this is the left. Cardiac output would be low, systemic vascular resistance would be high, same mechanism, the mixed venous oxygen would be low. What about the cardiac tamponade? Cardiac tamponade is gonna be different. Why? Because the blockage or the shock, or the blockage would be at the level of the heart, not the lung. So the blood will be congested from the heart up to the lungs, to the back to the right heart, everywhere. So everything's gonna be high. This CVP, PCWP, SVR, systemic venous acceleration will be low. This cardiac output will be low. Obstructive shock. What about distributive shock? Distributive shock is special in the as the sepsis or anaphylaxis. There are two types: sepsis, anaphylaxis, or sinus injury. They would both cause systemic vasodilation, as there will be autonomic dysregulation, loss of the autonomic tone, loss of tone, and vasodilation everywhere. Blood would be running, causing warm and dry skin. The CVP, central venous pressure, would be low, and the PCWP, because the heart is empty as well. Vasodilation everywhere in the body, taking blood away from the heart. The heart would be empty in both cases. What about the cardiac output? In septic shock or anaphylactic shock, the tachycardia is too much, increasing the cardiac output. Okay, while in CNS injury, it is low as well. Systemic vascular resistance is low. Why is that? Because we said there will be loss of autonomic tone. There is no vasoconstriction. This mixed venous oxygen saturation might be high. How is that? Because the blood going to the tissues, coming back with more oxygen or with high oxygen. Why? Because the tissues are not extracting the oxygen due to multiple mechanisms. One of them mitochondrial dysfunction, one of them is because of the high tachycardia, not giving enough time for the tissues to get the oxygen out, and all of that. So these are special in the distributive shock, mixed venous oxygen saturation, and the cardiac output. These are special. Thank you so much. Hope you got everything right.